Hello, everybody. We're back. Segment 3 of our show, F1 Chase for the Title. And now we're going to talk about the racetrack that's coming up is the legendary Monza in Italy. The Tifosi, who we'll talk about, the Ferrari fans won't be there because, well, they're not going to be allowed there. But if they were there, I'm guessing they're not going to be too happy with what's been going on with their team. But before we talk about that, let's talk about this track in a little more detail. And our friend Chase is going to break it down. Chase?
Yeah, Monza. It was built in 1922, and it is the home for some of the best racing in F1. And, of course, in the wonderful country of Italy, it has some of the most devoted fans to the team of Ferrari. Every year, they're always there. Unfortunately, not this year. They're always big fans of F1 and their team. Last year, Leclerc got first place with Ferrari, which was great for two reasons. It was one was a win. Two, it was for Ferrari in Italy. Unfortunately, though, as shown in Belgium last week, Ferrari is not doing too well. And with the 2 DRS zones and 11 corners of Monza, I really don't think that Ferrari's lack of power is going to serve them anything. And I think they will struggle quite a bit.
So this track is also known for speed, right?
Yeah, there's around three main straights, and 2 of them lead into chicanes, which is always interesting to watch. But with all the straights, it's not suited well for Ferrari. They don't have the power right now.
So speaking of that, as we mentioned, there's going to be no fans, which is probably a good thing. But the Tifosi and Ferrari are not exactly on speaking terms right now. It's really kind of remarkable how poorly Ferrari has performed, and the fact that between Vettel basically being I guess viewed probably as a malcontent because he's no longer going to be racing for Ferrari next year. Leclerc everybody loves, but they're wondering what the heck's going on, and he's not too happy. So timing probably couldn't be worse for Ferrari to show up on their home track, right, Steve?
Yeah, this is unfortunate. I mean, we talked a couple podcasts ago about, some of the downward momentum of Vettel, and those were just some personal choices that he made driving, and coupled with some of the power unit issues that they've had with Leclerc, and just a dismal showing in qualifying for the Belgian Grand Prix, and obviously a dismal placing overall. They are certainly going in with a lack of momentum into their home track, which is unfortunate because this really should be what would hope, and as we saw last year, a highlight of their year. So, having said that, I do feel as though there's going to be a tremendous amount of pressure on the Ferrari team to perform well this weekend. And I think they're going to do whatever they need to do. Now there are power unit changes going into the rule changes going into this weekend, which is going to impact a lot of cars, especially Mercedes. But Ferrari already having power unit issues going in, it's unclear as to how they're going to be able to respond to it. But it's going to be an interesting weekend for Ferrari because they need to turn things around. They really do.
And it's going to start with qualifying. I mean, practice, but then qualifying, because if they don't get a good position on the starting grid, they're just going to get, I think, going to be overwhelmed when the race starts. So, I mean, I just think that's so critical how they start and where they start. But like you said, who knows? And the interesting thing is that Rubens Barrichello still holds the lap record here at 1 minute, 21 seconds, 0.046 in 2004 when he was driving for Ferrari. So it'll be interesting to see if the Mercedes or Red Bull or anybody can touch that during the race. So now it's time for some predictions. Nostradamus yet again. But before we get into that, I understand Chase has some questions about the point system. Is something, were you bringing that up when we were off there? Was some comment you wanted to make? You care to repeat that for the fans, or you want to keep that to yourself now?
I think we had some other support shown from another member of the podcast for that tech. I think he can explain his reasoning.
I don't know who you're talking about, but I can tell you that Dr. Bill texted me. Apparently, he's got some rabbit ear antennas in a campground where he's hanging out, and he heard the comment about his points should be subject to scrutiny, and he said something about an attorney, and he knows where you live, Chase, and papers.
They're keeping us anonymous.
So, yes, we are keeping it anonymous. He just said that he knows that it's you, Fredo. It was you. You broke his heart. So let's get into Nostradamus here, and I'm going to quickly read the potential choices that you can select, and we're going to do 2 like we did last week. Plus, there's a bonus one. So first one up: Hamilton wins pole by 2 seconds or more, 5 points. Verstappen on pole, 7 points. Vettel and Leclerc both make it into the third round of qualifying, 8 points. Albon finishes 4th, 9 points. Norris finishes 4th, 10 points. Bottas pushes hard but won't be able to finish due to mechanical issues, 7 points. Kimi Räikkönen will say something in the race that will make you chuckle, 5 points. And the bonus one, which basically you have to pick an answer. Grosjean will return to his ways and will cause something that results in him being penalized. If you say yes, and it does happen, you get 1 point. If you say no, he doesn't get himself to get a penalty, you get 7 points. There we go. Steve, your choices, please.
I'm going to go with Vettel and Leclerc both make it into Q3 qualifying for 8 points. I'm struggling right now between McLaren and Red Bull and who would finish 4th. And I think based on this track, the speed, I'm going to go with Red Bull. I'm going to say Albon finishes 4th.
You're going for some big points there. 9 points and 8 points, 8 points and 9 points respectively.
Yeah.
If you win, you get 17, and the bonus point.
I would like a half point though, depending on how Albon and Norris finish up. But
okay, that's nice. We'll save it for the jury later. But what do you think about the bonus question?
The bonus question, I'm going to go with yes.
Okay. Okay. Young Chase, for your last appearance on the show, what do you expect here in terms of Nostradamus? What are you picking?
I'm gonna play it pretty safe. I'm gonna say Hamilton wins pole by 2 seconds or more for 5 points, and I think I'm going to also say that Kimi is gonna say something that makes you chuckle during the race.
Okay, and the Grosjean bonus question.
I would say no. I think it's worth risking the 7 points.
All right, and a little voice in my ear told me that I was supposed to ask Steve about his experience driving at Monza. I didn't realize you'd been over there to drive the track. That's exciting. When I was pitching the Chase, talking about it, you've actually been there and driven the freaking track. Please share with us, the audience, what that experience was. Were you in a Porsche? What kind of vehicle were you driving?
Yeah, it was actually
obviously in Italy. So
shortly after I drove the Belgian track, in which I was just all over the place, and I couldn't stay on the track. I moved to Monza because of the long straightaways and the what I'll call more simplistic chicanes, in order to give myself at least a competitive advantage. Sure. But I did race for Team Ferrari on eSport, of course, during my simulation.
What?
It was a sim race. I didn't actually get to Monza in my trip to Italy.
You gotta be freaking kidding me. They're stopping me with my progress on my show. The producer's whispering in my ear, talk to Steve about his experience in Monza, and you're talking about the video thing?
JB was great. As a matter of fact, Chase was going to drive it with me, and he let my record stand there at Monza. So
Okay, Chase is complaining that your controller was illegal or something too. So I filed an appeal about that too. Yeah, that's where we are with that whole business. All right, well, it should be an exciting race, like we said, and probably again, I'm expecting a lot of activity in the 4 through 7, 4 through 8 places, because these guys are going to continue, I think, to go at each other. So that's great. There is a sad note. This week we honor the 50th anniversary of the passing of Jochen Rindt, who died during practice in 1970 for the Italian Grand Prix. Sadly, but somehow poetically, he actually ended up winning championship that year because Jackie Ickx, his nearest competitor, didn't score enough points, and so he was actually posthumously awarded the Grand Prix title, which is the first, unfortunately, last time that's ever happened. But he was a great racer. He was Austrian. He was the first Austrian to race in Formula One. Made the sport hugely popular in Austria and in that part of Europe, and also was a real champion, along with Jackie Stewart, of improving safety in the Formula One cars. So, a true legend that we're going to be honoring this week with the Monza races as it comes up. So, gentlemen, anything else you want to add before we end this week's show?
On that happy note,
Jace, you're just digging yourself deeper and deeper. So, with that, and my wisecracking panel, as you know, I like to close with wishing all of our viewers, the tens of thousands of you that are watching this week, I hope you have time in the DRS zone. See you next week. Thanks for watching.